Hold on, I'm looking right now to make sure it's up yet. It says it's up now. Just click my profile and keep. Yeah, you see it now. By the way, if you see the disasters picture, like more disasters to come, that's literally the that was someone made that for me a long time ago. An ex actually made that for me for stoners. You know, it's saved. Are you on my stream? Okay, we're gonna go to the junkyard. I'm gonna explain it to you in the built form when the car is built. So you're gonna watch me take it apart and you're gonna tell me if it's satisfying. I like this game. People are like, this game sucks. It's like, I personally love it because it's like, this is someone usually doing it in real life. You have buttons to hold it. Where in real life, sometimes the bolts are struggling. You smack your hand against the fenders once in a while. And I'll tell you people what people say they've been in pain. I'm like, you don't know pain till it's really cold outside. Your whole body's numb no matter what you wear. You can't wear gloves because you can't grab the bolts, and you have a cold wrench and you're wrenching and your hand or your wrench slips and it smacks against the frame above. You don't know pain until you do that because your hand is in so much pain, but it's so numb, and then it just kind of makes your body confused. So it hurts your whole arm, and then when you actually try to get it warm, your hands are freezing and it won't. You have that weird numbness in your hands when it's cold. It makes it feel like it's itchy. Yeah. You don't know pain till that happens. It happens pretty quickly, too. So the junkyard is supposed to have cars. What is you? Okay, I'll give you choices, okay? So we have this. What are you? I think this is almost a Nissan or a Pontiac or something. What are you? You have an inline 6? Is this an inline 6 or inline 4? It won't let me see the engine. It is 60. It's I6. It's inline 6. Okay. Inline 6. So there's that car that you saw. I hope you saw that one. You would see it delayed also in the stream. And I can't fix the stream. It doesn't matter what internet I have. It's, this. This is a DLC I bought. These are hot rods, if you don't know what hot rods are. There's 5 that came in the thing, which is kind of nice. It's V8. You can put big blocks in it. So there's this one. So if you want to if you want me to do that one, I'm gonna see what's in the junkyard, and then you tell me which one you want me to completely rebuild. Oh, we passed one. I didn't even see that. There's a car right here. This is a common car you probably see on the road. A car like this. Oh, you're also an inline 6. I'm more of a V8 guy myself. Is there any more cars buried in here? Sometimes you'll find the junkyard have 1 or 2 cars, or sometimes you'll have full. It's really random chance, but it's kind of a rare chance to find them when the junkyard's full and all the spots are taken. I don't even know if they ever do that. Is that all the vehicles? Okay, I guess you have 3 choices. Who's cool boy? Is that you? Oh, okay. You want the hot rod? Alright, we're getting the hot rod. And when I do this hot rod, I'll build one in my actual game whenever I have time of the actual one that you wanted. If you want it pink, there's pink. There's vinyls and stuff, so you would just... No, hold on. No, I don't want to return to the garage. Let me buy this. Buy car. Buy car. Only 7 grand? That's not bad. Let's go to the garage. And let's go back to the garage because I don't need any other car. But yeah, so I'm on Sandbox right now, so you see there usually would be a money count and a XP or some up in the right corner, but since it's Sandbox, I have endless money and stuff, and the garage has already been built, so usually you start with 1 car lift and all that, and it seems kind of smaller, but because actually when you first start, and I'm going to show you, I mean, I guess you won't technically see it, but I'll point it out on the stream. As when you first start, the whole left side of your garage, there's a bus in there that you can't work on, but there's a bus because it's like a garage you bought or something, because it's a storage thing, you decided to make it into a garage. So then when you actually buy or get the upgrade, which you get XP from working on vehicles and stuff, you can get the second lift option, and that stuff gets rid of. Which I thought was pretty cool. Dun, 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 dun. As you see, yeah, right where I'm standing, there would be a bus right here, which is amazing. I said in the garage. Why are you not in the garage? You're in the parking lot. Go in the garage. Car lift A. Alright, so as you see, she's very rusty. She's old. So my trick is, because obviously what you do on this side, there's going to be the same on that side, right? So, for example, so there's no tire on this side, so there's a button, as you notice, and you can add to shopping list. So, for example, I'll double up the rear tire, double up the rim, try to keep it classic. Then I'll remove the tire, because you can strip your tires and stuff, but honestly there's no point. I mean, we're not ever using this tire again. These rims they're done. So, old cars have brake drums. These would be like your parking. This is how a parking brake even works in modern cars, so I'll show you. So this is what it would be. So you have a brake shoe that will compress around the drive axle, and that's what stops your car. I mean, some people have calipers that will squeeze the caliper to slow your vehicle down, which is efficient because this can, damage this, and this is more expensive than the brakes. But a park brake, that's what this is, because this will jam around this, so this doesn't move ever. Of course, if your cable's all rusted out completely, like you get in a lot of vehicles, especially when there's salt, it doesn't work. And none of our vehicles have an emergency brake. We had to cut all ours out because the cables got old from all the salt, so cut them out, don't need them. So as you see, I'll mark everything, and then there's like things like this, rubber bushings. Those are things you have to remember because they are very common. And you got your, oh yeah, I guess I have to lift up the car. I completely forgot it was above ground. So lift up the car, no problem. So we bought the car for almost $8 grand, correct? That's how much we paid for the car. So that's what it's. So if I show you this, there's a car status. It tells you your body condition is 10%, parts 12. As you take all the parts off, changes and stuff. Tells you your old color variants. Like this car used to be black and white, apparently. Tells you your mileage. So this thing had 177,000 kilometers on it. Not a lot. It's about 1,200 kilograms. So it just weighs a ton. So that's not bad actually. It tells you your tire size. So the front, it tells you front and then back. So the left side's front, the back side, or the right side is back. So you got your engine. So it's a V8 OHV overhead valve. SS, which is usually performance engine, is pretty good. There's on the bottom swap options. Those are your swap options. It tells you the factory power and the factory torque. That's what's already is at. So if you look at measure power, measure torque, that's if I ran it through a dyno, say when I upgrade it, that's where it will go. And then you can tune it and stuff like that. Here's a list with the puzzle piece. It tells you obviously these, we have no idea what the damage is on these because I have not taken them off. But as far as it came from the junkyard, it's not good. And then this tells you your parts value, your body value, stuff like that. So right now, I bought it for $7,752. Right now, my profit is negative $759 because the parts that were on it I took off. Right. So if you say you bought a transmission for about $4 grand and it was an aftermarket, so maybe you pay $6 grand, you throw that on, you already have your profit right there because now you've already overdid it. So if I say I've got something for $760 or something that would give it $760, I would have a $1 profit. Whatever it catch up, and then whatever. You know what profit means, right? When you meet okay. They didn't teach me that in school. I learned it from this. No, they wouldn't. That class was like barely. They kind of gave you like a general idea in grade 8, and then never spoke about it. But it's like most grade 8s didn't know it existed. So really. So this game has taught me a lot. It taught me about the profit value and stuff like that. So I've learned a lot from games, believe it or not. Even to my career to this day. Sure. So, yeah. You're still watching, right? So as you see, all the old stuff is being removed. Now, the game doesn't give you all the wires and stuff, which I kind of like. Because there wouldn't be too many, but there would be a speed sensor in the rear diff here. Because most vehicles are commonly rear-wheel drive. Most vehicles, there are front-wheel drive cars, but I I don't really like them, to be honest with you. Even on my main car, not the Ultra I showed you, but I have another car that my mom gave to me, and it's a front-wheel drive car. But it's the only front-wheel drive car I'll ever drive because it's been pretty reliable in the winter. So I'll drive that. But yeah, so I explained to you how the drive shaft works, right? It goes to the back and turns the rear axle. I can't crack the axle, but there would be a gear here, and a gear right where the drive shaft goes in. So if you do it long enough, you just tend to remember, you know. Plus, one thing you know is there's no front solid axle on the front end. It just, see, notice there's, so if it was all-wheel drive, you would have either before, usually it's after the transmission, you have a transfer case, and you would have a drive shaft moving up to a front, if it's a solid front axle, you have the transfer case. If it's IFS is what you call it, which is front wheel drive, it's all-wheel drive, but most vehicles have this. And how did they do it? It ran into, actually, how does that work? How does an IFS work? There's still a T case in, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's different variants of T cases in front wheel drive systems and stuff. All right, so that's the rear end's gone, right? There's nothing here. Also, I noticed something. Where's the gas tank? There was none. There was no gas tank. Okay, and I think I forgot to get rid of this. So, see, these are parts that are missing now. It tells you the parts. So, I apparently was missing the entire exhaust system. It didn't have an exhaust system, so I can go in and mark these parts. So, like I said, double of everything. That's my first step, is I usually mark the parts that don't exist. And for example, look, this is the front end. Double wishbone suspension. Well, yeah, double wishbone suspension. It's kind of double wishbone. It's a variant of double wishbone. So you get the rims, get the tires. Surprisingly, no rusted bolts. Just throw it on the floor. And then the front tires are calipers. So a lot of people will just get this, and then there's a third part they don't know about. So you mark the calipers, but in the calipers right here, there is a cylinder, and that's what compresses against the disc. And a lot of people don't know that. So if you just get a caliper and you don't actually get the part inside that stops, because brake pads, so the caliper holds the brake pads, and then so I don't know why this game has just brake pads sitting like that. So you have the brake pads in it, and then you have the cylinders, and they compress the brake pads inwards using brake fluid, and that's what compresses this thing. Yeah, the disc. Look at that, you're doing pretty good, you're knowing it. And then yeah, there's little bearings in here. So the bearings is just because you put the tire on it and it's got a free flow. But if this was an all-wheel drive, they wouldn't. There usually is a bearing, and then you would just have an IFS thing go here and up into the T case on both sides, and then that's how you get IFS. Now I may accidentally mark these parts a couple times. I do that when I get distracted or such, but I also do it because sometimes you just forget about the part. So if you have more than one, I know, for example, there's only 2 of certain parts, right? So if I see there says more, I'll know. But, you know, it's better to mark it a few extra times than not, right? But in real life, I write all this down and have the perfect amount. You have to. So, for example, there's 2 suspension arms, each have 2 rubber bushings. So there'd be 4 on each side, so I need to mark 8 rubber bushings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's rubber bushings, and then I just mark 2 bottom control arms, 2 bottom control arms. They're called control arms, suspension arms. There are different names for the parts. Call them whatever you want. That's how I was taught them. Because you go to different mechanic shops, they'll have different names, right? There's like 60 names for each part. So I just call it what I know. So, you know, double wishbone suspension, which is, you know, up and down, because some just have down or some just have up. Or you can call them control arms because they control all this. So, like I said, whatever people prefer to call them, they can call them that. I call them control arms once in a while because they control your wheel. Like they hold your suspension and they hold your wheel together. Without these, your wheel would be just connected by, like, in this case, nothing. Maybe the spring. But that would just be like, you hit a bump, she just folds over, and now you're grinding your wheel. And you got your stabilizer bar. That's what it's called. It's front sway bar. It's stabilized. It connects to your front wheels so that your wheels don't like bend left and right like away from each other. It keeps it kind of attached and centered. Usually these have adjusters on them, which are really cool, and you can tighten it to make it, you know, if you want to put it in closer if it's not good enough. So all this stuff I can now remove. I don't know if I marked this because I'm talking to you. Usually I'm good at this, but I haven't played this game in an actual while because no one's really interested in it. But I'll do it this way. People are gonna be a little awkward. They'll be like, "Why is this guy on a different account?" So I got suspended from it. That's the first time, but I don't know. I see that. They haven't commented, so I have no idea. But it's still me. Still the same wolf. Alright, so get rid of the tie rod, and then now it's just a steering rack. Remove it. Now all is left is this. Oh yeah, there's no drive shaft. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the buy list, main shop, it being gear, drive shaft. Ask me how I remember that, can't tell you. I just know. Oh yeah, hold on, there's no starter. See this, see, if you look at this diagram, there's a little gear right here. If you could see that symbol, whenever you see it pop up, or right where I'm highlighted, this would pop into, I'll show you. So now that you see that, this is how it works. So once I take this transmission off, and I'll get all the rusted bolts off real quickly, just chuck that off. There is this system. This whole thing that you see is called a torque converter. You usually see them in one piece. But take off, usually this would be manuals and stuff, but you take off all these. So technically, it'd be spinning what? This? The flywheel. It'd be spinning the flywheel. Or as some people call it, a clutch disc. Some people call it that, because you know, in some trucks it's like a really big round thing. So people call it different things. That's okay. I don't really care. I call it what I know it. Not to be a prick or anything, but like I said, we all call it different things. Like I'm going to school for it, and I've been with 3 different bosses, and they've all called it a different thing, and I'm like, what the hell are you calling it? Like, for example, they call it different. There's these really tiny like screwdrivers or stuff, and they're called picks because they got little ends to like get rid of dirt and crevices and stuff, right? And it's just like they call it something else one day, and I look at them and I'm like, what? Like this, and they pointed to it, I'm like, a pick? And they kind of laughed. It's like, oh, that's what you call them. Like, yeah, I was confused for a second. So as you can see, front right door, windshield. Is this not a mirror? It is a mirror. Okay. I was like wondering why I couldn't look at it. I don't know if I grabbed the front left door, but here it is. Grab that. Grab the seats. Front right seat. Left seat. You don't like the seats? Yeah, sadly you don't see them a lot here because they're illegal, almost. Apparently in a lot of countries now, for hot rods, you can't build them. You have to buy them like this. And there's manufacturing companies that make them like this. If you ask me why, I don't know. Okay, I marked all the pieces for that. Let's see, it needs... Why can't I not mark you? It needs a license plate. It needs a front right tail light. And if I do this, I need a front left. So look at this. This is the trunk. Boom. There's your trunk. You bet you didn't know this was a truck, did you? This might be a car, but the truck version is just the same. The truck version is like this. This would be the fuel. So what's really weird is this is the fuel tank right here, technically, which is a really shitty spot for it. You put a lot of weight on it, bang, no fuel tank. Not even joking. I've done that by accident. We all laughed. I didn't. Okay, and then I need to go into interior, and I don't think I could put a spoiler on it, but imagine putting a spoiler on this. These are modern seats. By the way, we don't have to get these seats. We can spice it up. If you want different seats for this, I can get you different seats. I don't know if I can get gaming chairs. I think the closest is there's like cool Tesla chairs. Okay, so now we need to take the engine out. You can strip it piece by piece, but I'm gonna be smart and just use an engine crane and take it out. Now there's no engine in a car. Is there anything I was missing? Oh yeah, I was missing this. This. I have that. There's no radiator. Yep, I figured that. You're a normal radiator, right? Radiator C. So you should have... No, you'll just need the fan for the engine block. Is there anything else that you need? Nope. Oh yeah, you're going to need a fuel pump. You don't have a fuel pump, you won't even start if I want to. So, these are the normal parts, right? So if you... Oh, hold on. That's the wrong button. So if I go over to... body... or tuning shop... Same, most of the same parts. Not every part has like, you know, this. Like, there's no... They don't have all the aftermarket parts, is what I'm trying to say. So it kind of sucks in some ways, but, you know, there's a lot of parts they put in. Like, you even got Tesla parts. So, example, I need a fuel pump. I bought a fuel pump. So there's an engine here. So usually when I strip an engine, I'll mark every piece that it has in it as I'm disassembling. So install new engine. And this is what we have with this engine. This is not a lot to work with. Two carburetors. Oh, my bad. Only one carburetor. They're two different ones. Distributor cap. Fuel filter. Already marked that. There's no oil filter. Okay. Steering pump. How many... Oh, I've worked on actually one of these engines. So you have... Rocker arms are from old school vehicles. So 16 rocker arms and 60 push rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 8 on each side, so that's, you know how you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. It's an 8-cylinder engine, single spark plug per engine, so 8 spark plugs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, okay. Now we'll go to disassemble. And I've already marked this, so I can just rip this off because I don't think I can fix it. Rotor cap. This is an old engine, so this isn't in this rotor system that Nixon cap you just saw me take apart is not in a modern car. It's not coils. You need to mark this. But most of the stuff is generally the same. Rocker arms, it's now like it's almost like a kit in a way, where they're all built in the system you just put on to the engine heads. But back then it was all manual, and you have to adjust everything as you're putting it in, which is cool because like remember how I said they're stronger? It's all manual based. Nowadays it's all a kit, so if something fails, it fails the whole system, and it can be somewhat easier for mechanics to fix and you know all that. But if you want a high-performance engine, that's why I said no modern cars. And then this runs... Most people didn't know this. When you have coolant, it runs in the engine. It doesn't go with the oil. It runs through the cylinders and stuff to cool everything down. Because think about it, you have a combustion engine and a big metal thing. It's not just the fan that cools it. You have a fluid running at fast speeds, and the fan also keeps the radiator cool, which keeps the fluid as cool as it can go, right? That's why when vehicles overheat, their caps blow, because now the system can't keep the fluid cool. The fluid gets too hot and boils because your combustion chamber is making it really hot, right? Because it's metal and fire. It's going to heat up, right? Yeah, it's because a lot of old vehicles, you see them have electric fans and stuff to keep it cool, because the old fans, they only go as fast as the engine is spinning, right? So you hit the gas pedal, it spins faster. So the coolant fans, they'll have it spinning at fast speeds, they'll have 2 or more, and then it's always keeping the engine cool. And you'll see them, they'll strip the old fan out to get better radiators and stuff. But that's what it is, because this part here, so this is the engine. This block is the engine. This engine head is this is where the chamber happens with the, when it combustions. So this covers the pistons. So as you see, I take I should probably mark engine head A and engine head B. So I'll take this one off now. And you, by the way, when you put these together, you don't put the bolts in order. You put, like, say, the first one, the last one, the middle one, just to keep it, make sure it's flat. So notice, now the pistons are free. So this, it combustions right in that head, and then if I show you this, the spark plugs go in here, right? Like you see them, they would go in these holes right here, right? Whenever it catches up. I'll explain it to you, then you'll see it. So they go in this hole, and this is where they ignite it. And then you have, where would the ignition wires would go over. So it doesn't show the fuel lines on this one. I don't think, but there would be fuel summers being put in either from the front or the back. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't really show you on this model. That's why I wish they had more wires and stuff. But there's some vehicles have fuel rails, and there's summers. It'll drip summers into the engine, right? So I don't know if I don't see any holes or anything, but they would drip into the engine block, or like in here, and the spark plug ignites it. Like I said, it moves the piston. It moves this thing right here, this crankshaft, which will spin the rest of your vehicle from behind. So, dedicated my entire life. This engine has been used for a lot of cars. It was usually a common V8 back then, but there's a lot of different versions of V8. Everyone wanted to make their own V8, and so you have 30 different types of V8s now. Yeah, so I worked on most of them. Oh yeah, there's pistons. So I've worked on a lot of different types of engines. A lot of engines people don't even know existed, which is kind of funny. So it's an 8-cylinder vehicle, so I'm going to mark 8 pistons because I'm pretty sure it's missing a couple. Right? Let me see. You got 4 in here. Nope, I guess it has all 8. Of course, we can do this on the engine hoist. Now we can take a look at the bottom here. It's held in by rod caps, which, helps it rotate. So this whole chamber would be full of oil, and that's so this metal doesn't grind against each other. So 8 cylinders, 8 caps. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, so this has to hold in between each piston. So there's 4 pistons, which means there's only 3 holders you need to have in between each piston. If I said that without context, you would have no idea, but I'm showing you. In between each piston, there'd be a cap. This one's missing the middle ones. That would be bad to try to turn the engine. But yeah, there's crankshaft bearing caps. And I guess you'd know the name. I accidentally hit 4, my bad. Sometimes, my finger gets sloppy and wants to hit that button. So, we remove these. Sometimes the pistons don't always want to come out, so you'll get like a socket, put it on the end of the crankshaft with a wrench, and you'll like turn it so you can move so the whole thing moves, and you will just take out your pistons when they are free. Most of these are missing their rod caps. Some of them are missing, so if you went to start it, it's still technically fire, but then your piston would just smash against your crankshaft, and that's how you get your whole engine ruined in a split second. Who knew, forgetting to put 1 bolt in? Because if you only put 1 bolt in these caps, now it's rotating and stretching that part that has no bolt, and it will snap off, and then your piston will fly through your head or your chamber, no problem. So they also have, so a piston actually has 3 rings. It's got 2 top rings are combustion rings, which help with the combustion, you getting the fuel in the rings and stuff, right? And the last ring, which is at the bottom of the piston, is an oil ring. Now this doesn't show that, but that's kind of interesting thing to teach you. So I remove all the pistons, which you always have to remove from the top, like you have to push it upwards, because they can't slide on the bottom unless you have the crankshaft taken out. But usually it's kind of hard to just slide it out, because how does it usually work? So the crankshaft, they don't slide out. You usually have to, you push it in one way, and then the other side will pop. In this case, it looks like there's a cap on this, because usually it'd be a straight cylinder and you just pop it out. At least that's most of the engines I worked on, that's how they work. So pistons are done. Mark the crankshaft's out. Mark the engine block's gone. Now, this is my list of the old parts. I didn't have it, I already met, I was stuck to, why does it keep going over to the engine? No, I want to mark this. Every time I hit the button, I don't want the piston. Why is it doing that to me? It's because the controller is not like an actual controller itself. I don't... Can I just mark this? Like, why can't I just... Okay, I got piston rings there. Like I said, I just do it for a living. Okay, shopping list. This is my favorite part. This is when you buy... Actually, technically I'm not done. Because I'll show you what I do with the cars. So there's a welder. You bring over the welder. Usually you'd paint your car first. So all this rust, you know, the rust in the paint, I'll go and use equipment. That's not how it really works in real life. You use grinders and sanders and stuff like that. We want it to be quick. Now the rust is gone. Now it's just dirty. So we will move the car to the car wash. So it's a dirty car. Yes. So we're gonna use the exterior washer, which is the pressure washer. I don't actually have to wash it. Okay, good. But as you notice, why is it still rusty? Is that the paint scheme? I think that's the paint scheme. Yes. I do everything. Vehicle detailing, which now cleans the interior. Bet you didn't know they were that brown. Look at that. That right there. So this is the paint job. I guess it's got a lot of people like to do that. They'll make it a rust color to give it like an old school look because it goes with the wood vinyl. Which, by the way, these are usually real wood. So bring it back to car lift A, and she's beautiful, but she's got no parts. So we're gonna go. Nope, we gotta go to the tire shop. So tire shop. It wants vintage tire wall A. It needs to be 275 by 65, size 16. This is the part I always get bad. So size 16. I immediately forgot. Is it 275 by 265? I think so. 275 by 65. Did I remember it right? Yep, I remembered it. This is always the hardest part. And then it needs a rim. So you go down to the rim shop. There's a lot of different rims. I just need 2 of these, and they're size 16. You could get really ridiculous with this stuff. I mean, you can make your own custom tires for vehicles and stuff. Like, it's amazing what you can do in this. So the tires are removed from the list. I accidentally hit the wrong button. And I need brake drum, brake shoes. So you just go to there's no aftermarket. So brake drums, brake shoes, brake cylinder. You know, you just gotta buy all your parts. You know, your solid rear axles, stuff like that. Wheel hubs. This is the rear end because this I marked it from when we first did the rear end, right? So this is the rear end being bought right now. 10 rubber bushings, that counts for all. They stack, so if you buy the same part, it stacks for everything. So this is for the entire vehicle. For leaf spring bolts, solid control arm. Grab that. There's 2 shocks in the back, 2 caps, 2 rear springs. 2 rear spring caps. Well, I have it marked down, but it's the basics. There's usually 2 of everything, unless you know there's more than 2. Fuel tank. Buy a fuel tank because it's missing a fuel tank. Gotta get your your whole rear axle. So you need a battery. It needs to be in an electronic shop. Just quickly grab the battery here. Mufflers. These I have aftermarkets for these. So we're gonna go here. Rear muffler. They're way more expensive than normal exhaust, so I'm going to buy everything. Now we're going to the front section. These are the tires as you see. So we're going to go to, what is it, the rims are first. They are size 12. So notice the rear tires are size 16 rims. These are size 12. These are way smaller. And they're already set the default to 12, so grab 12. I kind of like those rims. And 145 by 65. Okay. 145 by 65. Size 12, we need 2 of them. Boom, white wall front tires, not bad choice. Brake calipers, brake cylinders. Okay, so we need calipers, there's no aftermarket for these. Gotta get the cylinders. brake pads. There's no aftermarket. In real life, there are aftermarket brake pads. I'm going to let you know. There's many types of brake pads. Discalated, there are aftermarket versions. If you notice, these are all different brakes you can get. And they do different things, but for me, I get the best kind, and they're the most expensive. They're $600 a piece. In real life, I don't know what we spend. Wheel hub bearings, gotta get those. You need the thing that rotates. This, you know, the funny thing is, it seems like a lot of parts, but the hot rod is the lowest amount of parts in any vehicle in this game. Crazy, huh? Yeah, just take a modern car, has about 3 times as many parts as you're seeing on this. Yeah, and sometimes you have to do a whole rebuild, especially if they're in accidents. Because in order for a car to be announced roadworthy, it needs all the inspections. So any part that could be liable or old, you replace it. And I've seen vehicles where we had to replace the whole underneath, the engine, everything. So the whole car was taken apart, and the parts were giving us a trouble half the time, and it was so bad. Like, I can't even tell you. Okay, so there's also custom gearboxes. So $3,600 for a gearbox. Done. Electronics, I need a starter V8, because the V8s are different. And then main shop, the bearing is in the main shop, but the rest of the torque converter part, you can get in a tuning shop. They're more fancier, they work better. You know, the aftermarket technically means it'll last longer, and when you have something that's shifting your gears, you kind of want it to, you know, be attached. Body tuning shop. Notice that hot rod isn't at the front of this list, so there's no aftermarket tuning kits, because technically so I have my list, but as you see, there's very little parts for this car, so I'm just gonna mark every part, because every part needs to be, you know, because I can't fix a window. And then do this. Okay, I need license plate. So we want to do custom seats. So we're gonna try something. You ready for this? I don't need a bench seat. This thing doesn't have a rear side, so it can't. Bench seats are for 2-wheel or 2-door cars with a rear end that you can get in. So, oh, there's new seats. There's like gaming chairs like this, like, you know, kind of nice looking, like this. Or you see them right there. There's like the brown, the white, the black, the red, the blue. I hope you see them. Oh yeah, now it tells me my internet's connection. Okay, fuck you too. And then there's chairs like this. And then there's Tesla seats, and I want to go find them. Oh, I hate Teslas, but I'm gonna admit, their seats are pretty epic. I'm highlighting it right now. You want those? Okay, I'll grab 2 of those. Now a steering wheel. Oh wait, that's on the same thing. Let's get you. Do you want an old school steering wheel or a fancy steering wheel? Because you got like old chain steering wheel, stuff like that. Old steering wheel like that. So there's names. If you see the name, tell me which one you like. There's still another page like this page. I don't know if you want anything from that. Oh right. Oh, I see it. This one right here. You know what you're saying is delayed, right? Yeah. You want this one? Okay. Now we gotta see if this fits in the car. So, because some seats don't always fit. Let's see if they fit. Oh, would you look at that? My God. Dude, that would be comfortable. You know what? You know what the cool thing about this is? I can do this. Hold on. Hold on. Why can't I get in? No, I still should be able to get in. Is it because there's no steering wheel? No, steering wheel. Assemble mode. Car status. Should be able to get into it. Start it. No, that's not the thing I want. I haven't played this game in so long, I almost forgot how to play it. These are all the pitch. Why do you not? Like, I should still be able to get into you. What the heck is that? Oh, I didn't even get the fuse. I should still be able to jump in the car. Why won't you let me in you? Let's move you outside. Let's move you. Yeah, let's move you outside. Will let me get in you now? Oh, I can just sit down. There we go. There we go. Look at that. They kind of clipped in the side here, but this is comfortable. This I have. Not this color combination, but I've seen fancy seats and stuff like that, yeah. Alright, so I still have parts to buy. That was just the interior steering wheel. Get rid of these seats. Oh, I just accidentally hit the... It needs license plates, so we'll just get 2 Alabama, why not? Those are the default. Those are the first ones, right? You don't want to go through everything. Brake servo. Okay. You need all this fancy stuff. Power steering, of course. Radiator. Wouldn't doubt it. Alright, now carburetors. Carburetors are fuel injectors, basically. And I know it says Mark II because I thought they were both the same one, but there's 2 different types of things. Ignition cap, aftermarket. Fuel filter, can get that here. Oil filter, I cannot. Oil filter is just in the main one. Grab that. Boom. Big V8. Power steering pump. I should be able to get that here. Yep, old school power steering pump. Rocker arms, I cannot. Grab those. Need 16. Almost 200 bucks worth of that. I need 16. Push rods, I only marked 15, but I know there's 16. Almost 64 bucks, that's not a lot. Spark plugs. I can get aftermarket spark plugs. Actually, you want to see something interesting? So you know the compare price? Normal spark plug in this game. Oh, right. Sorry. Spark plug wouldn't be in here. That's in electronics, technically. Spark plug, $6 a spark plug. Okay? Not bad. Aftermarket. $25 per spark plug. I need 8. I'm going anywhere, just endless. The distributor has 8 things on the top, the cap, right? Each cap has it, so I'll explain it. If I forget, tell me to remind you about the spark plugs, okay? No, it doesn't freeze, it just doesn't move. I sit there and like talk. ALC, come back up. You see it? There. Engine heads, I can get those here. They are kind of expensive, but you know. Why does $2? The engines weren't $2. That was $1,200. Not for someone building an engine. No, that's per head. That's per head. The engine block I haven't even bought yet. Piston rings, 8 pistons. That's about $1,300 right there. Rod caps. There's no aftermarket rod caps, so 8 rod caps. Crankshaft bearing caps. There's 3 of those. Crankshaft, 1 of those. Engine block, there's not none aftermarket, it's $1,800. That's not bad for an engine block, but that's just a block. You have about 30 grand worth of parts to put in the block. And then piston rings, I need 8 of these. Okay. I have all the parts for the car. I need to assemble the parts, so you gotta go over the wheel here. No, not separate, I don't need to separate. We're gonna build them. So as you see, this is a small tire. Brand new tire, brand new rim. Look how nice that looks. shiny. Same thing, gonna put some new tires on it. And as that, I have to balance it to make sure it doesn't wobble while you're driving. That's how it works. You put little weights on them so it keeps it even down the road. Take this, that's a really small tire. Take this, put the big boys on. Look how big these are. Whenever you see it, how compared to the ones that we're just seeing, they're big. Think about it. Hot rods, big tires in the back, right? Yeah. Most of the time, anyways. And then you get to those really cool hot rods with the big off-road tires on front and back. They're like, I'm a hot rod, but I'll go anywhere as you take me. So balance these. Yeah, it's better to build them. There's not much to build them. You usually just strip down a chassis and put it like that. You know, most of the times they don't have a hood to keep it so it keeps it cool. You know. I've seen people build entire hot rods that I'm building for 50 grand, depending on the parts they get. The reason it's costing me more is I'm putting aftermarket parts. Where most people just put normal parts in their vehicle. Alright, so first up, I'll start with the body panels. So you gotta see what the car, looks like. So the panels come out as black when they're new, but I'm going to paint the car. That's why I wait till after to paint the car, so you're not wasting money painting, parts. And you could paint individual parts. Like I can paint my engine red and stuff like that. Like you could paint your individual parts, but I don't feel like doing that. Okay. There's a lot of parts in the engine to paint. All right, so that's needs more. It needs all these panels. Okay, the doors put in, the fenders put in. This has lights to put in. Okay, is this missing a front bumper? No, it doesn't have a front bumper. Okay. I did forget something. Where is it? No joke, I forgot something because I didn't. Most of the time you don't see this. Why can I not? Let me go here. I forgot the fuse box. There's fuses. I didn't take it out. I didn't even see it. Like, this is a small fuse box. I mentioned a couple times I saw it, but it's like I didn't realize like it was there. Like I saw it after. I'm like, oh, there's probably no fuse box. I was expecting to buy all the fuses, right? But at least when the fuse box basic is there, it kind of helps you remember what's there because then you just mark them. So these are. Oh no, I need to go to electronics, which I need to go. So I have things marked down, but there's no cover for it, right? Because there's no cover that exists. So I just got to go down here and buy the cover. Now I just go here. So relay. There's one of these. One of these. 3 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these, and 1 of these. Alright. Perfect. Now, one of the funnest parts. You ready? I have to put the whole entire thing back together. So I didn't take the fuse box out still, but I have all the parts bought. So in case I forgot one, I can mark it. So the fuse box goes out, just chuck that. That's not really much you can fix on those. So, see the old fuse box got these weird like burn looking marks or whatever, or dirt. Whenever you see that, I'm gonna put the brand new one in. Look how shiny it is. Oh, it's so shiny. Look, it's like brand spanking new here. Look at all these new relays. Brand new parts, brand new plastic, nice and shiny. You want these plastics because if this box is made out of metal, you're gonna short circuit everything and might explode. No. Battery in. Good, good. Fuel tank. I'll have to do that from the backside. So what I like to do with the engine bay is I like to build the engine bay before I put the engine in it, right? So you got your brake servo. You can't fill up these with fluid because if you tried filling up with fluid, it's just gonna leak out because there's nothing actually to catch the fluid. So the engine, obviously, I haven't built yet, right? The engine still hasn't been built. So I'm going to put the rest of the car together. Because why not? So fuel tank, chuck that bad boy in. Brand new shiny fuel tank. And now it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little, right here, fuel pump. I bought an aftermarket one. Shove that bad boy in. There. You know what a fuel pump does, right? So there's a top, the cap goes on the top, and there's a tube that goes inside all the way to the bottom of the fuel tank. And when you start your vehicle and it pressurizes, it sucks fuel up into the fuel pump to your hoses, to your engine. Yeah, that's all it does. And then you have a fuel filter, which it'll filter out from like dust or like dirt and debris, because if you have dirt in your engine, it can wreck it. So to put these all in, these fancy new middle mufflers. Notice these mufflers are super shiny. Normally they're like a gray looking stainless steel. These boys are shiny. Like, these are aftermarket, top of the line, beautiful machines. So now I'm going to build all this stuff. See, doesn't it look so nice? Because you saw it look like all rusted and stuff like that. And now you're slowly seeing it get brand new shiny parts. And some people, like, you don't technically, like, if you want to sell a car, you don't technically have to make an alignment in this game or real life. But I go the extra mile, and I would straighten the headlights and stuff, because you put new headlights and stuff, you usually want to make sure they're straight, they're facing straight and stuff. But you don't have to do that in the game to sell it. I choose to do it just because I think of customer quality in some ways, right? Like, I would do that in real life to give that extra mile. Sure, it doesn't make me any extra money, but hey, you know, it feels good to do it even in the game, because it's like, you know, it's just a feeling. Because I've said this to people and people don't understand. Mechanics are almost like a doctor in a way. They're doctors for the vehicles, but in a way they're almost like doctors for people. Because think about it, if I made a mistake on this vehicle and I didn't fix it and I didn't sue some, that could kill an entire family. So when I do this, you have to do with utmost care and make sure. Like, I've seen people who, like, you know, you have a customer come in and it's like, oh, I think a couple things are wrong here and there, and they'll find a bunch of problems sometimes, right? You'll find like things that are like broken and need to be made, and they'll tell them, and they'll even say, I recommend not driving this vehicle till it's fixed because it could cause accidents, right? So some people only care about the money. Honestly, I just like this as a job, and you know, I want to do it right, because like, if it's my own vehicle, don't care as much, to be honest. To be straight up honest with you, I'll still do it normally. Like, I'll still like make sure my vehicle's built and all that stuff, you know, because I care about my vehicles. But it's like, I'm less like worried about things, because like I said, if this is a customer's vehicle, it's not hot. I'm not the one driving the vehicle and all that stuff. So if there's say I have a tire that's kind of bent, right, and I knew about it, not so bad. I'll know to take it easy. But what about if like a customer doesn't know that all the time, and they go to take off or tune too hard, they could just snap it off and boom, accident or fatal. You double check it. You check it. You can be, yeah, very liable. You can go to prison. There's a lot of cases, different things. You're liable for that accident, so pretty much, yeah. It's a bad reputation. I mean, they may not also, like, they may not even pin it on you, like, oh, a car could have faults, but if you're a decent human being, you'll admit fault, because you're the one who just, you know, wrecked it. You know, technically, in a way, right? So, like, you always double check things. You make sure things are built properly, and then you double check it and you test it. A lot of mechanics will test their vehicles or whatever they fix or design. They will test it multiple times. Now, something you can't test, like if you were just given a motor with no way to turn it on or anything, you can't really test it. So they'll build it and they'll ask. So what they'll say is they tell the customers, like, we couldn't test it. We have no way of testing it. You put it in, do whatever you need to do. And if it doesn't work, we'll bring it back and fix it free of charge, basically, you know. And that's happened a lot. I had a boss blame me. It's like I took the thing apart. I'm not the one who put it back together. It was put back together right. I had it punched properly and everything. Like, you punch the metal with like a puncher, and then they kind of just like, oh, this goes here and whatnot. And I put it on. I had everything punched right, and it came back about almost a month later, and they said it didn't work. And it's like, well, they were using it for a month, so I don't know if the part was bad or if there were just something with the vehicle that they were using. Like, we're working on big equipment, so could have been running it too much and it was supposed to. You know, there's a lot of causes for a lot of things. It's hard to die and not something. Oh, you blame me for a lot of things. It's like, but I didn't do it. And I had an accident one day, and I hit the top of the roof with the excavator arm. I didn't notice, right? Because it's a tin roof. Tin bends really easy. And this excavator is small, and it kept jumping, you know, and all that, so it was like a little worry. And I was just moving a little bit and did a little jerking. I didn't notice. And I made a little dent in the roof, and I didn't know. He freaked out at me. completely, like yell at me and everything. And that was like just my second month in. It's like I didn't know. I couldn't even tell him I didn't know. Like I tried to. And he's like, "Don't lie," and he's just yelling at me. As soon as I said I didn't know, he just started freaking out at me. It's like I didn't know. So like I went to my parents. I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't know this happened." He won't even listen to reasons. Like I didn't know I hit the roof. It's a tin roof. It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cost thousands of dollars." Like, buddy, I can buy an entire roof for $200. It's just a tin roof. Tin's not that expensive, my dude. And I hit it gently. You just gotta get up there and hit it with the hammer, put the styrofoam back in. Like, I would admit that I hit it. I did not know I hit it because I did not feel it, and I did not look up. That might have been my fault for not looking up, but like, I just didn't notice it would hit, right? Like, if it's a wooden thing, you would have felt it, or you would have heard the cracking of the wood. But it, didn't hear it. But no, you don't even need to. You can go up there and hit it with your hand and bend back. Like it's thinner than aluminum. That also can cut your hand faster because it's thin. Okay, now I need to build the engine for this. That's the only thing that's missing out of this car. So the engine block was already technically here from when we took it apart. So look at that brand new engine block. Right, put the crankshaft in, do all that stuff, bolt the crankshaft in. I always start at the bottom, put these pistons and stuff in just so that's all done. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't have for this car was the oil pan, because the oil pan wasn't on this car. You need an oil pan, or else the oil just pisses out the bottom, right? So in order to get an oil pan, you have to flywheel. You gotta put the flywheel in, and you gotta put all the pistons and stuff in. But look, all the clutch plates put in, pressure plate, bolt that on. Now normally I'd bolt this on like I do it this way too. Because the engine stand, you can rotate, it's safe. Oil filter, I'll put all that stuff on. Pistons. Look at that, fancy duper pistons. Got the piston rods, combine it, boom, pistons in. And now that you know that's how that works. It's a lot harder to put the piston rings in. There's like a tool to put the rings in it, but it doesn't take long. It takes about like 2 minutes to put all 3 rings in one piston. Most of the time you can just buy them pre-ordered like that. So it's not bad. So I have 8 brand new pistons and rings. Now all the rest are like the old ones. Put the new rod caps in. They're all shiny. So now now this looks like a new engine. Obviously this wouldn't run now because like there's no combustion that can happen. There's no spark plugs. There's no because right now if I went to go, these would swing up and would get out of the cylinder and you would break everything. That's why there's engine heads, right? To keep it. That's what keeps the combustion in the chamber. That's why it's called a combustion chamber. If that makes sense. Yeah, so, plus if I try starting it right now, it wouldn't turn over, there's no power into it, anything, right? I need the starter and all that, but that's in the transmission. Usually when I take an engine out, it's with the transmission, so it's all hooked up. Oh yeah, I don't have the oil pan, so no problem. Let's go over to the main shop, select the oil pan, boom. Now they look nice, you can see things, yeah. Look, power steering pump. Plus, it's easier when I'm explaining as I'm putting it together, right? Like, power steering pump, here we go. Goes there. Power steering pump helps with fluids. It moves it's like a hydraulic fluid that moves the steering. Because if you're steering, when you have power steering, right, that's how you turn really quickly. Where the old school was mechanical and it was hard to turn your wheels like hard. So, power steering, it's got hydraulic pressure, which will instantly, when you turn it, this will spin it to use pressure. Because this is always spinning from the belt. So when you go to turn, it pushes pressure to one side or the other depending on you turning, right? So say you go to turn left, it pushes everything to the left because there's the thing that goes inside the steering arm, pushes all the way left, which will push because it connects to those tire rods, right, which spins your vehicle. Because your vehicle is technically centered. You know what? Actually, I'll just point it out as I'm showing you to make it easier. For example, so right here. Steering arm, you have hoses and stuff connecting to it, right? You would have a hose coming down to it, but you have this hose. So when you go to turn left, you have pressure that moves left and all that, which would push, because notice this is centered. This is attached to the steering knuckle, which is centered right here and here. So this, and then everything, this is how it holds together, and then this will push this tire rod, which will push the tire outwards, and then it'll spin on this free bearing here. And that's how steering works. Told you. That's my life. Nah, I don't really need to design new cars. I'm just gonna build the old previous cars. Yeah. Those shows are all set up, man. Those shows are all set up. None of them are actually real. Well, think about it. Like, there's so much drama. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Gold Rush. It's all set up for content. Yeah, like, those shows are just meant to catch things. Like, always, like Pawn Stars. I get it. No, they buy, like, yeah, sure, Pawn Stars, yeah, it's selling one. You know, it's, not all of it's set up, though, just recording a lot, but, like, it just seems so fake a lot. It's like, and notice a lot of the times, like, when they actually, there's been a few times when they went to go, like, sell, like, stuff, and they got professionals in, and they said it was even worth even more, and the guy still wouldn't sell them for that price. So it's like, you know, it's like stupid. I'm gonna show you the ignition thing. The cap has not been, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna show you. So this is distributor ignition. This spins from underneath, right? When you start it, it spins a little camshaft in here. So this right here, there's a rotor inside, right? This will spin. Some of them spin. This one may not spin, but these usually spin. Yeah, cause see, there's a little gray thing. So some of them spin, some of them are like triggered. Most of the time they spin. And then you put a cap on, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There should be 9 of these. There should be 9 of these. Cause there is no. That's for modern vehicles. Some vehicles still have these, but they'll have a 9th one because this would go up to a coil, and the coil is how you start it. So some of the ones that don't spin, like it plugs into here, and then you have 8 cap ends and 8 spark plugs, so they would spin it and ignite, right? When they hit the thing. So some of these spin and some of these trigger. I don't know which one this is, because this could be a spin, because you never see it actually work on this one. So some of them can spin, some of them cannot spin. You know, I can't tell you which one spins or not because the game doesn't model them perfectly. I don't have any of that stuff either. Okay, so put all this stuff on. You know, it looking like a normal engine now, isn't it? Still missing it. Still missing a lot of parts, but do I have this built? I don't think I have this built. No, I didn't have that built. So I already bought aftermarket exhaust manifolds, nice and shiny. I'm gonna throw all the spark plugs in. This is a weird engine. Most times these are just straight out. These are all curved, so if it was blocked. Luckily this is on a hot rod, so you can get to all these parts really easy. If it was actually in an engine bay, I'd hate this engine. This part's a little annoying with controllers. Sometimes I wish I had a mouse just for this reason. It'd be easier to click and hold, you know. Because if I misclick and hit the side, it zooms out and stuff, so. You get used to it. I'm faster than I used to be, and I'm barely concentrating, so I could have been faster, but push rods are in this side, good to go. Like there's a lot on the engine I forgot to put on, because I don't usually do this engine in the game a lot. Because this engine is, so there's a supercharged engine and then there's a normal engine. I took the stock engine that we found in the car, because this one, if I check here, nope. We'll have to go to the car. So, I'll show you. So there's swap options for this, but I didn't give you the big engine. What I did was, I gave the original engine, the VOH or OHV. If you look at the bottom, you know, there is OHV supercharged, you know, all the stuff like that. So I could have picked the better engines for this, but I chose to kind of keep it stock for a general thing, right? So this is what the engine would look like, fully built, specialized. But I could have put all the aftermarket stuff in, you know. I could have gave it a little bit of a bigger V8 that was supercharged and stuff, but I try to keep it a little bit original for you. Supercharger. I'll show it to you sometime when I play this game again. But I'll do it on my other account, so I don't have to build it again necessarily. Or if I build it, it'd actually be like in my garage to keep, because this is just a secondary profile, so this is kind of useless. Like, how often am I actually going to play on this world? So I hope this gave you a good basics of how the engine works. I'd rather teach mechanics than do mechanics, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, I've hurt myself. I'm young, but I've already hurt myself. Nope. Trade schools. They're different than college, and because college you go for like different types of professions. University you go for high professions, but trade school is for big job industries. You're like, oh, I'm making so much money in the lawyer. It's like, yeah, all you have to do is sit there and make decisions. Mechanics are always working, their hands dirty. Like, your hands are always never clean. You always have to wash them. I mean, so technically your hands are always clean because you always have to wash them, but you know. To learn. I'm doing heavy duty now, and I need to learn more about it because I don't know all the heavy duty stuff yet. Because now it's big diesels, and I'm sure I could figure it out, but I'd rather just get taught. So get all of this. I've taught a lot of kids, actually. Remember that story I told you about how I was more qualified than the teacher back in school? I was more of a teacher than I was an actual mechanic in the school, so. He taught me how to weld, though, because I didn't know actually how to weld properly. There's special techniques, and I wasn't doing them. Oh, yeah, I also don't have these as spark plug wires. I should get those. These are in aftermarket, though, so I can get those there. Round air filter, that's an aftermarket. And then ignition wires, get that. And then there's just the radiator fan, which is in... Actually, hold on. I should stay here. It's in the base number 2. This is dual... What? 10. That's pretty cool. That's not a bad idea. To do it. That's why, like, a lot of people have said this, and it's like, if you're doing a job, do a job that you actually enjoy. Nope. Oh, makes sense. I heard of that, but I don't know if that even exists here. It could exist, but I don't go to those places. I don't know. I don't even like Burger King. We have those here, and I hate them. Got sick from the sauce one day. Hey, dude, look at the engine. It's a full, big engine. Now, normally, in this game, it seems like a carrot in your back pocket. There's no way in hell you'd be able to lift this engine. Are you ready for this exciting moment of throwing it in the car? I'm just going to throw it in and duct tape it, good to go, you know. It wouldn't run, but they say it's a show car. Engine already in the bay. Is it because of these? There's no engine in the bay. Oh, you know what? It is because of those. You can't have. You have to have. I don't get that. I do this in real life. You just drop the engine down and you would bolt it into the bottom exhaust pipe. But in the game, they don't like you having the front exhaust sections connected. I don't know why. But like in real life, you keep them on and you just slowly lower the engine, and put the engine on the frame mount, and then just bolt it in. That was totally it too. Look at that, man. Oh, beautiful. And now I have to. Oh, just gotta. No, it's more than a car. No. You ready for this? You ready for it's an old hot rod with Tesla seats. See, remember how this car was about 8 grand, right? And I had no profit coming from it and stuff like that. Well, just give it a second. Just wait till I'm done putting in the drive shaft here. So I think the car is almost fully built. Let's take a look at how much the car status. You know, it's going pretty good. I have a $67,506 profit right now. The car, if I sold the car right now, it'd be $75,000. Oh yeah, it tells me here. Let me check. Car go down. I have spent, I think what? I spent $23,553 on normal parts, $9,234 on the body panels and stuff, like all the windows, mirrors, stuff like that, and I spent about $27,000 on performance parts. That's $67,000 profit. Yeah, but each gives you the profit when it adds up. And then there's condition price bonus, which is like, you know, cleaning the seats, stuff like that. What else do I gotta put in this? Nothing? There's nothing else I need to throw in this? Okay, now there's one last thing I gotta do for this. Before I can do it. I have to fill it up all with fluid. It needs fluid to run, dude. So put the brake stuff in with the fluid. Stop being out of context, man. I'm so glad they can't hear you. It's oil. Well, it's actually brake fluid. This is oil. I know. I'm lucky they can't. Thank goodness. I still think you should get on your knees and beg your parents to allow you to get the game, because you just had it, right? So like, why not? Like you already technically have the money for it, right? I mean, like tomorrow or something, not tonight. Let them cool off. Because, I mean, you, like I said, you technically already have the money, right? Because you've already bought the game. I mean, I'd rather you just get one that's 40, save your money. Jeez, economy nowadays. Okay, now we have a couple other things we gotta do. I'm gonna give it a headlight and wheel adjustment, and then you get to pick the paint job. I'm gonna show you the liveries first for it, and if you don't like the liveries, then we'll do you know, just custom paints and stuff. Look how long it's taking me to build a car. It took me an hour and 14 minutes in game. Think about how long my streams are when I build more than one. A day or two. I've worked on one type of Bugatti. I think it was just a Veyron, and I think they needed a new engine. I almost wanted to light the car on fire, but hey, it wasn't my car. It costed more than life itself, apparently. I don't know why I had a he was wearing like a lot of jewelry. It was like a darker fellow, and he seemed like he was in like 30s, and he just had this, and his engine blew like on the side of the highway. When I meant it blew, I mean he had his rear panels on his car were gone. It blew. The engine blew. So we had to Please don't. I will never work on it. I hate modern cars. All their computers and stuff in them, it's a pain to work on. Because you can't even change the oil without the sensors going off, and you can't start the car all of a sudden. Like, a what? Oh, IT department. No, you get these fancy $2,000 computer things you plug in. You can do everything in the car. You could even change the horsepower ratings. You can increase your engine torque. They're fancy. Okay, you ready for the liveries? We have flames. We have blue flames. We have, what did that do? Oh, put a name on the front. Paints it gives it purplish fenders. I guess. Oh yeah, here it is. This was a rust kit. That's what we saw earlier. What did this do to it? It looks just like kind of a clear color. It gives like a green around it. Weird version of that with blue and stuff. Flame from the engine bay down. A blue flame, and then none. This one. Okay, now you have options. I can paint it. I can do gloss, solid, metallic, pearl, matte, which is, solid, chrome. I usually hate chrome, but this is like a dichrome. It's weird. Chameleon. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean for this. Matte chameleon. Okay, and it's back to gloss. I can tell you my preferred, but if you have one you already like, go ahead. My personal, if you look carefully, if you watch it, I like metallic. It gives it that kind of a dark shine. Kind of really makes it pop. I always pick metallic. And you don't have to have this color. I can change the colors. Because I can go down like this. And I can make it blue, green, yellow, red. Go to the other side. What color you like? I could always do it this. Pink. Pink? Okay. Now we're gonna go measure the torque and horsepower. Oh, it's got more than 2 horsepower. Remember when I said about a dyno? You didn't know what a dyno is? This is the dyno. See? You sit on rollers that you drive. You got the fan to test your aerodynamics, and yeah, that's what a dyno is. I am missing clips for the engine. Oh yeah, this son of a gun had clips that I didn't put on. It doesn't need it. Mine, I've never had clips on mine. No, it won't. The cap already clips on. The clips are just like, oh, if you hit a hard bump, it's like, guys, I live in Canada with a lot of bumps. My clips never come off the car, and it doesn't have clips on it. It just stays on. It's so compact, it can't move whether it wanted to or not. Plus, it's got the suspension, so it absorbs everything. So caps are on. Alright, car is fully built. Now can I do it? Yeah. So right now, it's got a factory of 254 horsepower, right? You ready for this? We're going to test it. It doesn't show you doing it the dyno, but it shows you a chart. If they don't know how to show a dyno. So it does a few revs to kind of get into it, and then it goes. The red is the horsepower. So it goes up to the second line, hits up to the third line, and then drops there. Okay. So that's how many goes there. It has 444 horsepower. It went up by 190 horsepower and 272 torque. That's a 75% increase for horsepower. That's pretty good for a car that's not aerodynamic in the slightest. Also, turn up all your volume. What the heck? Hey dude, you want to see an issue that I think I'm going to have an issue with? Hold on. I can't jump. Can I open this door? Take a look right there in the seat. That's kind of an issue for when you sit down. It's because the seats aren't meant to be in here, right? So they sink lower. So now your butt is a taser. Okay, turn your volume all the way up. I'm gonna do it too, just so you can hear it. I'm gonna get out of the car. turn up my volume, and turn down all the other. Where's my settings? Get it. Look away from the car. There we go. Settings, game volume. Turn it 100%. Music. No. Oh, I didn't even save it. My man's struggling over here trying to do stuff. So game volume, turn it all the way up. Yes, save. You ready? Listen. It's high performance, my dude. Yeah, so that's the car. Suicide doors. Oh. That's what they call them. So yeah, so this car, if I check, is this car fully built 100%? Yes, sir. $81,000. I put 2 clips on it, and I gained like $5 grand each. Like, geez. So $81,000, selling it. Look at that. I turned an $8,000 car into an $81,000 car. It's $84,000 profit. Amazing, right? I have. But usually the money goes back to your company for the parts and stuff you have to restock, right? You usually have a yeah, people are like, you make a lot of money in mechanics, yeah, but don't forget, when you start building more and more advanced cars, you have to have a huge budget to afford those parts, right? So, like everything. Oh, I'm going to end the stream there.